is fear getting in your way? Let's really jump in and get this topic started. Like, my mouth is not fully working right now. 5 reasons you may feel imprisoned by fear, okay? And the signs are that you're getting ready to get ready to get ready. If that's you, put yes in the comment section. Getting ready to get ready to get ready. Or you're caught in the research, looking for the data so that you can have all your ducks in a row. You might be rewriting and organizing and rewriting that program, that book, whatever it is. You got to get it just perfect before you take action. Those are some signs that you are imprisoned by fear. So I want to talk about this thing called your comfort zone, because everybody talks about it. What is your comfort zone? For Suzanne, it's like this invisible wall. And I'm just trucking along, doing my thing, all excited to do something. And then it's almost like I bang into it and it pushes me back. And as soon as I do, the fear rises and I'm stuck in my comfort zone. And this is the interesting thing. Although I want to break through, I want to get out there, for some reason, I can't break through that wall. And I'm comfortably uncomfortable. And oftentimes, if you're like me, you start justifying and giving yourself reasons why your comfort zone is oh so comfortable. I'm not quite ready. I need to learn more. I don't have enough experience. We have all those things, right? So, so what exactly keeps us stuck? And what I want to do tonight is I really want to give you some information, some tools and some tips. I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can begin to use right away to help you get unstuck. And as I go through them, you're going to go, these are pretty simple, but simple often is quite powerful. So here you are, you've got a vision worthy of your life, and you are ready to jump out into that comfort zone. Now, this is the thing. It's, I think one of the reasons that most people stay stuck is they want to take a massive leap outside, right? Like they're going to jump and they're going to be thrown way outside your comfort zone. That's not the way I've learned to do it. I've learned to just take small steps, a little step just outside, and then work there for a while, then take another little step just outside, and then work there for a little while and take another step just outside. And what really happens is when I turn around and I look at how far I've traveled, I realize that I've actually expanded my comfort zone larger than I knew it could be possible. But the thing is to just keep creating those small steps. Now, this is the interesting thing. We tend to diminish and dismiss our small step. Oh, I just did that. That was so easy. That was nothing. But this is the thing I want you to get. Any journey worthy of your life, any journey that's worth going on, is a product of all those small steps. And what I want you to sit in, and please write this in the comment section, I want you to sit in gratitude for every small step that you're able to take, every single one of them, because the compounded effect of those small steps is exactly that. It ends up being a massive step. So that's the first thing I want you to think about. The second thing I want you to think about is don't wait too long, because this tends to be what happened. How many of you have actually had the frying pan moment? Just let me know. And hi, Linda, welcome. The frying pan moment. The frying pan moment for Suzanne is when I've been procrastinating, I'm stuck in fear, I'm avoiding, and then it seems like God said, I whispered to you, honey, I tapped you on the shoulder, now I'm gonna hit you upside the head with a frying pan. Not that he actually does that, but that's kind of what it does. And it rocks my world, and then I get thrown out of my comfort zone. And now I'm in the deep end, fear, anxiety, and paddling really quick to survive, right? I'm in new waters. So the other reason you wanna really learn to manage your fear and step by step is when we stay in one place too long, we often get thrown out. So this is one of the things I want you to think about. When you feel that stirring and you are comfortably uncomfortable, in other words, you're comfortable here, but at the same time, this is not where I'm meant to be. Maybe you've outgrown it. Maybe you are no longer excited by it. Maybe you're playing small, whatever it is. I want you to take that clue and start planning for a move, okay? So that's the first thing. So let me give you the 5 steps that I want you to really take on in order to step outside, expand your comfort zone, and actually get past the fear. Number 1, well, first of all, let me give you one more tip. Anytime you feel fear, it's usually a sign that you're moving in the right direction. It totally is a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Anytime you feel uncertainty, but it's something you truly want to do, you're moving in the right direction. So I'm going to tell you two quick things that before I get into the tips. One is I had about 10, 15 years ago, I think, I had a year of yes. And the year of yes was my way of getting past my fear. And I was often stopped by money. I was often stopped by time, and I was often stopped by, I don't know what I'm doing, because I was a recovering perfectionist. So in my year of yes, what I decided was, if there was anything I wanted to do, but the only reasons I could come up, my procrastinations was money, time, or I just didn't know how, I was going to say yes, and I was going to figure it out. And that actually got me taking steps outside my comfort zone. So that was the first thing. The second thing is I really began to understand that I didn't need to see the whole path. So I'll give you a scenario. So I'm in Arizona, and where I'm staying, my timeshare actually is just on the back of, in front of Camelback. So I'm here there by myself, and I go to the front desk and I ask them, I say, is it okay to go hiking by myself? They go, absolutely, it's safe. The trails are there, the trails are monitored. You can totally go hiking by yourself. Okay, cool. So I put on my shoes, got my cap, I got all the things I need, I got my water bottle, and I'm gonna go for an hour to an 90-minute hike. That's what they tell me it's gonna take, cool. So I go walking down the street, and I'm walking, and I'm looking up at the mountain, and I'm like, I don't see a trail. I don't see anything. So I keep walking, but I'm getting that little bit of anxiety. I don't know where I'm going. I'm by myself. I don't know, but I keep walking. And then I turn a corner, and I walk down another street, and then I see the entrance to the hiking. I still don't see a trail. So I keep walking, and I still don't see a trail. And it's only when I get onto the grounds and I look down, there's this small, narrow trail etched in the dust. And if you're not looking clearly, you will definitely miss it. So I start walking, and I'm seeing the trail, but I can only see the trail probably about 10 feet in front of me. So I walk, and as I walk, the trail starts to reveal itself and reveal itself. And as I'm hiking, I come to the fork in the road. I know the perfect scenario. I come to the fork in the road, and I'm like, oh, which way do I go? But I can only see about 10 feet. So I make a choice, and I go down that way, and I come to a cliff, and I go, that's obviously not the right way. So I turn around, and I come back. I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. Your first choice is often not your last choice, but your first choice will inform you of your next choice. So I go down the road, I start up the other way, and I keep moving, and the path starts to reveal itself, but it's only a little bit at a time. Then I come to this cliff. It looks like a cliff to Suzanne, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, oh, I'm afraid now. I don't want to jump it. I don't want to climb it. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm thinking of turning around. And then I watch this woman who looks like she's like 70, and she's just hiking along at a nice little pace, and she just scales up that trail like it's easy, up that cliff, that side. So I start to follow and do what she begins to do. And I realize I couldn't see what she saw until you were right on top of it. And there was these places to put your feet, and it wasn't as steep as I thought. So I continued, I had my hike, I had a great time, I turned around, and I came back. This is the moral of the story. Until I committed and made a decision and started moving, the path was never revealed for me. See, when you're standing still in the same place, thinking about getting outside your comfort zone, all you're gonna see is what has made you uncomfortable. It's only when you commit and make a decision and start moving in the direction of where you want to go will the path and everything you need to know be revealed. And remember, you're going to go off in the wrong direction. But if you're willing to learn and a lesson while you're in that direction and turn around and course correct, readjust, you're going to be picking up all this valuable information that will help you keep moving outside your comfort zone. None of this is available when you're in your comfort zone thinking about getting ready to get ready. None of it is available while you're wondering what to do, and none of it will come to you because there's no need for it to. So what I want to show you is how you get to access your brilliance that you don't know yet exists the minute you step outside that which is comfortable. All right, I'm seeing the love. Thank you. I see Fazia. Welcome, Fazia. I'm seeing hearts. I see Cindy. Welcome, Cindy. And yes, Linda is here. So yeah, so this is really what I want you to think about. Nothing is available till you step outside. And that brilliance that lives inside of you won't come to you until you step outside. Why? Because there's no reason for it to. Because when we're comfortably uncomfortable in the place that we've been in for the past 5, 10, 15, maybe 20, 30 years, your mind does not need to expand. You see, the reason we step outside our comfort zone is so that we can exhaust all our knowing, so that we don't know what we don't know. And we have to really begin to ask ourselves new questions, different questions, sit in new places, and begin to evolve and grow for each of us to access the brilliance that is already there. So this is how I walk through the world, and this is what I'm going to recommend to you. Trust like you know your name, that everything you need is already existing inside of you. It's all there. And the reason you want to get uncomfortable, the reason you want to step beyond what's uncomfortable, is that's the key that gives you access to what you don't know exists. Because the only reason a new level of brilliance is going to become available to you, to your mind, is when you need it. When you think you don't know, when you think you can't go any further, that's when it becomes available. That's when you access it, when you are required to ask yourself new questions. All right, so let me give you the 5 steps. So you have made a decision, and that's the key thing. You've made a decision. You have a vision in front of you that is worthy of your life. Now, listen to the words I'm using, a vision that's worthy of your life, because we won't get uncomfortable for something that's not exciting to us. We won't get uncomfortable for something that doesn't inspire us. We won't get uncomfortable for something that doesn't move us. So whatever it is that's going to have you step out of your comfort zone, it has to be worthy of a transformation. It has to be worthy of the discomfort. That's really what it is. So you've got to have a vision or a goal that's worthy of your life in that moment. It's going to pull you forward. So that's the first thing. And you've got to decide. So now I'm going to give you the steps. So one is make a decision. Make a beautiful decision. The second one is you want to make a plan. Now, when I say a plan, I'm not talking about a plan where you've got every single step mapped out. I'm talking about a plan in terms of, I need to know this, I need to learn this, I need to learn this. So an action plan. And you might want to put your action plan with dates and time. So an action plan are some small goals that are going to move you along the way. Now, remember what I said. Don't go from the beginning to the end and say, I'm going to jump all the way from where I am way to the end of my, and land in my vision. No, you're going to have these small goals that are going to create those baby steps. So you step out of your comfort zone just a little bit, then you expand, and you step out again, then you expand, and you begin to build your confidence and your competence. So that's the second thing. So you want to create a plan. Now, this is the one that is the game changer. When you do it, you want to accept that you're going to be uncomfortable. And it sounds really simple, but one of the reasons we jump right back to where it's comfortable is we jump out there and we go, oh my gosh, this is uncomfortable. And then we go back into where it's comfortable. So this is the thing, you've got to, remember we're talking mindset. So you've got to prepare your mind for the understanding that you are going to be uncomfortable, and make uncomfortable okay. That is really what it is. Make uncomfortable okay. So that is the next step. So you've made a decision, you've built a plan, and before you ever do anything, it is to accept, I'm going to be uncomfortable. This is not going to feel good. That's the second part. With being uncomfortable is you also are going to be required to give up your need to be perfect. So who on here, if you are a recovering perfectionist, put in the comment section, recovering perfectionist, right? Or just perfectionist. right? So put that in the comment section because that was me. So this is the thing. You've got to give up your need to be perfect. You've got to give up your need to get it right. You've got to give up your need to not fail. Failure is your access to greatness, because when you fail, as long as, remember, the path go down the wrong way. Now, some people would say that's a failure. That is just access to new information. You're going to go down the wrong path. You're going to pick up a lesson. You're going to come back and you're going to keep it moving, right? So you've got to give up your need to be perfect and accept that you're going to fail. But this is the other part. You've got to give up your need to look good. That's called pride. And you know, for many of us, we are very prideful, and prideful will keep you right where you're comfortable, because we need to be right. We need to look good, and we got a lot of pride. So you got to give up your need to be prideful and look good, and know that the journey to greatness is messy. It's just messy. It's filled with I don't knows. It's filled with falls. It's filled with scraped knees. But I'll tell you, who you become on that journey is absolutely and totally worth it. So this is why, you know, one of the things that I'm giving away tonight, and I know it's going to be in the comment section. I know Tree is supporting me and putting it in the comment section, is exactly this. Well, I'm going to give you away a mindset mentoring moment with me, of course. And this is the reason why, because oftentimes when we are stuck in our own way, it is because something is running you in the background. And the things that run us can actually be surprising. Some of us are been socialized where there's so much expectations that you get stuck and you don't want to move. I remember being asked the question, is my best good enough? That's a great question. And we're going to do a live on that one question. Is my best good enough? But that was a conditioning by someone who would bring home great marks, bring home great results. And as a lot of parents would go, what happened to the other 4%? What happened? Why'd you get an A rather than an A+? And they're conditioned to say that you can't fail. You got to either hit the mark or don't bother doing it. That's what they're left with. And so they have a fear of failing. You might have an experience that you failed, or you did something and someone embarrassed you or made fun of you, and that is what you're carrying. So one of the reasons we do the mindset mastery moment is so that you can look at the emotions that you're holding, right? And begin to work with me to release them so that you can begin to get out of your own way. Because that's really what's happening. Our past conditioning, our past experiences are standing in the way of your greatness. So my love and desire is to help you unlock that and figure out what it is so you can keep it moving. So if that is you, in the comment section, you will see the link for the Mindset Mastery Moment. Go ahead and put your contact information in there, choose a time, and I would be happy to support and work with you. Okay, so we are at the point where you're accepting your discomfort and you've given up your need to be perfect. And now you're armed to take action, right? But before you do, there's one more thing I want to give you. You've got to step out into your comfort zone, ready to generate solutions. This is the key. This is the secret sauce. Now, this is why you got to give up your need to be perfect, because your first solution may not be your last solution. It may not be the right solution, but you've got to be able to generate solutions. So how do you generate solutions? One is when you step out there and you're uncomfortable, don't go into poor me, this is so hard, that is victim. You can't do that. You've got to ask yourself questions that are worthy of who you are in the world. So ask yourself how questions, ask yourself who questions, ask yourself what questions. Who can assist me with this? How can I get this done? What can I do to move past this? Ask yourself questions that have you generate solutions that pull you into further action. So the other thing is you've got to be absolutely, totally solution focused in order for this to work. And now you're in a place where you're prepared to take not action, but informed action. And this is the reason I call it informed action, because every time you take a step, what you're going to do is you're going to take that information and it's going to inform your next step. Whether you fail, whether you win, whether you're off course, all that is data to help you on the journey. So you're going to take informed action. So now I want to give you a tip for this to really, really make sense. Now, if you are part of my mastermind, you know we talk about deliberate practice, the deliberate sequential action. So this is one of the things I really want you to get in the habit of doing, is to do things, particularly when it's new, in a sequential order. Why are you doing that? Because one is you want to record how you did it. So it's not just going out and doing things willy-nilly. It's actually, remember I said, develop a plan, do an action plan, execute that plan, stop, evaluate it, course correct, write things down. This worked, this didn't work. When I got to this point, I got off course. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a roadmap the next time you want to do this. I have done this with every program I have launched. I have done this with every new thing I have learned. I have done this when I was learning to sell, I was learning to speak. It was a systematic approach to something so that I could see my blind spots. Remember, I'm taking informed action. And then I would stop, I would evaluate and course correct. One of the things about living outside your comfort zone is being willing to look at who you're being while you're out there. Because who you're being while you're out there, if you're willing to evaluate that and really take it in, it is going to give you all the data to begin to find your greatness. All right. So let me see what we got. Who is out there? Oh, I love these comments. Therese has written the tips for us. Thank you. Yes, Linda, give up pride, honey. The journey to greatness always, always, always messy, right? Oh, I see Fazia, another recovering perfectionist. Hello, my dear. I could shake hands with you. Teresa says, another golden nugget, failure is your access to greatness. And I want to stop there for a moment. And I really want to dive in and talk about failure is your access to greatness. How many of you listening have had those moments where you are, it's almost like, you remember we talked about being caught in that fear spiral. If you watched the live about 2 weeks ago, we talked about being caught in that fear spiral, when you're in that downward spiral, and oftentimes you're ready to give up. You were maybe gripped with fear, or you're gripped with overwhelm, or you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. This is what I really want you to get. Those are the moments when you're on the brink of a breakthrough. And what you want to do is you want to continue, even when you don't want to, even when you think this might be silly, you want to continue, and you want to stay in that informed action. Because it's usually when we feel like we've exhausted every option that we have, that we tap into a new level of brilliance or a new level of clarity. It's often when we've exhausted everything that we have that we find something in us that we didn't know existed. But what most people do is they get to that place where they're challenged, and that challenge feels a little uncomfortable. So they're outside their comfort zone, they've expanded it, but they've hit the next wall in their comfort, and it feels challenging. And what they want to do is they want to retreat. Why? Because there's tension. Think of your comfort zone as this elastic band that you're stretching, and you get to the point where all the elasticity's gone and it is straining. And that's the place where you're about to have a breakthrough, if you can get there. And you know what happens when you keep something at a certain tension for an extended period of time? It gives, and then it expands. You know, so that's what you want to do. I know if you ever had a waistband and it's been stretched and it's been worn, and suddenly it doesn't go back to its original space, it just sits there expanded and now it's too big. That's what you want to do. You want to keep in that tension so that you are going to actually create the expansion. And once that expansion takes, you're going to find a breakthrough. So that's the thing. Remember I said, get comfortable being uncomfortable, accept the discomfort. This is the interesting thing. Now, one of the things I was researching, they say that leaders and people who are up to big things have massive breakdowns, and they spend a lot of time managing fear and managing discomfort. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're listening to this, if you are up to great things, if you are stepping out and in that place of innovation and creation, you are going to be required to be vulnerable, and you're going to be required to live in that place where the tension seems always there. But this is the interesting thing. After you do it for a period of time, that tension will become normal. That tension will become normal, and you will miss it when it's not there. And you'll realize when it's not there, that you're no longer seeking your greatness anymore. You're just comfortable. And then you'll go out and you'll stretch it again, and you'll go through the same process over and over and over again. All right? So this is what I want to leave you with. There's greatness that lives in each and every one of us. You know, I tell people, I know you're brilliant. I know you're special. And the world is waiting for your unique gift. It totally is. But it's only those of us that have the courage to navigate this place called our comfort zone, to be willing to step outside it and live in that place of challenge, live in that place of the unknown. I like to call it your unknown zone, and live there long enough that it becomes comfortable. And then it's almost like rinse and repeat it, and do it over and over and over again, and make that your normal versus sitting, standing still where it's comfortable. Make expanding your comfort zone the new normal for you, because this is what I do know. Success lives in our willingness to innovate. Success lives in our willingness to push the envelope. Success lives in our willingness to create. That's how we stay relevant in the marketplace. So part of it is when you get into the habit of continuous innovation, continuous transformation, continuous learning. You remember the principle, lifelong learning? When you get accustomed to living in there, life becomes exciting, and you will be inspired by who you're blessed to become. So I invite you to step into your greatness. So before we close, I'm gonna remind you that our complimentary gift for you tonight is a mindset mastery mentoring moment, right? With Suzanne, with me. This is your opportunity to take anything that you've learned tonight that you want to implement, and you want to come up with a strategy. Maybe this is the thing that's keeping you stopped. Register, set up a time. Let's get on the phone so that we can support you in creating that breakthrough, a breakthrough that's worthy of your life. All right, let's see what the last comments are. Expand your comfort zone and new normal. I love it. Oh, Dawn says she appreciates this. Wonderful to see you, Miss Dawn Macon. And hello, Kim Cross. Wonderful. I haven't seen you in the longest time. This woman has healing hands, I got to tell you. And Linda says, you know, she's reminding us to give up pride. And we've got our recovering perfectionist. And of course, Taria, thank you so much for putting all the steps in the comment section. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, I'm going to have a guest next week, and this special guest, we're going to actually talk about what happens when you implement all these steps into your life. We're going to talk about what's the breakthroughs that are possible, and really how she has learned to master her mindset so she can live in that place that's uncomfortable, and what she's discovered about herself and what is available when she lives out there. This is new for this person, and I mean new in terms of an intentional way of being. Think about that, an intentional way of being. And, you know, I heard her say, I'm actually loving who I'm becoming. So stay tuned as I interview Ms. Fazia Mirza. Next week, we'll be back here Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be bringing her story to you and really giving you some insight around the journey to expanding your comfort zone. What happens? How do you personally set yourself up for a breakthrough, right? How do you set yourself up for magnificent so you are in awe of who you're capable of being? Again, my name is Suzanne Hart. This is Mindset Mastery, and thank you for joining me. I will be back here next week, Thursday, with my special guest. Take care.